Good afternoon, class. Well, good morning. Be morning tomorrow. We're going to talk about functions today. So let me get out of the camera so that it can focus on the board. If you'll notice on Schoology, there is a functions graphic organizer. There's two parts to it, but you only need like the top part. I think I fixed it where you can, I fixed it where you can type on screen or you can print it out and write on it. Okay, so let's get started. So the word we're going to be dealing with today is function. Okay, and the definition of a function is a relation where every input has exactly one output. For example, if I'm popping popcorn, I'm going to put popping corn. Well, we do microwave popcorn now. I don't want to date myself. Your parents are probably laughing. But when you put popcorn in the microwave, you expect to get, when you put the kernels in the microwave, you expect to get popcorn. You don't get baked potato or Takis or something like that. So if I put in a 5 and I do an operation on it, I'm only going to get one output. So if my operation is times 2 and I input a 5, I should expect a 10 because 5 times 2 is 5. 5 times 2 is not any other number. It's not 15. It's not anything else. So for every input, there is exactly one output. So here's an example. And I'm going to change colors. Okay, so here's an example. I can have 1, 2. What? Ooh, that's supposed to be a bracket. I did that wrong. Write that down. I'm gonna have to erase the whole thing. This thing is weird. Okay, so in my set, I have 1, 2. 1 is my input, 2 is my output. Here, 2 is my input, and 2 is also my output. Somebody might say, that's not what you said. Yes, it is what I said. I'm going to show you in a minute. 3 and 2, and then 4, 2. So we see all of these have the same output of 2, but how many inputs do we have? For every 1, my output is only 2. So you're going to look at the first number here. If it does not repeat, it is a function. So if the first number does not repeat, if somebody might notice that these are coordinate pairs, X and Y, I just erased everything. So let me write them again. My board is doing something weird. Okay. Let me write those again, y'all. So I have 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, and 4. So all these numbers, the output is the same, but the inputs are different. So as long as this first number here does not repeat in this first position, in the input position, it's a function. So this is an XY system. X will not repeat if it's a function. Okay? Y can repeat. The output, it can repeat. Because let's say 5 times 2 is, no, that's not a good example. Let's say 4 times 3 is 12. That's an output of 12. I can also do 6 times 2 and get 12. So my output can repeat. So you see my output repeats, but my input doesn't. Okay? Another way to, so this is one example. This is one way to write a function as a set of ordered pairs. Another way is as a graph. So here's my X, here's my Y. Let's make my graph blue. So here's my graph. That is a function. Another way is to do, so you can do it as a set, and then I can do it as a table. So I can write the same 1, 2. That's a function. This repeats, but this one doesn't. So it's a function. Now, if you have to slow the video down, you have to pause the video and write stuff down, that's fine. Do that. I'm going to go back up here to the top. So let's look at the characteristics of a function. Okay. This is called the vertical line test. If you can draw a vertical line, I'm going to abbreviate through the graph. That touches it. More than once. It is not a function. So if I have any kind of graph and it touches more than once, that's not a function. Let me get out of the way so that'll refocus and you can write that down. For some reason, when I come into the picture, figured that out the hard way this morning. Let me show you an example of a graph that is not a function. Okay, so that's my X and that's my Y. Let me change color and draw my graph. Let's do green. So let's say I have a graph that comes like this. That's not a function because if I'm going to draw a vertical line through here, I'm going to hit this. Like, let's say I'm going to draw a vertical line. Let me do that in another color. I'm going to draw a vertical line through here. I'm going to hit that point, and I'm also going to hit that one. What that means is that your X value repeats. So I'm hitting more than one point of the graph. That's what that means. So if I draw a vertical line through the graph and it touches more than once on my graph, it's not a function. Another way it looks, I'll think of the name of what this is called tomorrow. You know, it just slipped my mind, y'all. But this type of input-output representation, we'll call it a bubble today, but there's a formal name for it. And y'all know Ms. Acoff is a little goofy. So I'm going to draw some lines to these numbers. So let's draw my 3 to a -5 and a -2. So when you do this type of representation, if you have a branch out like you have there, like it's going to more than one number, that is not a function because that means my input has 2 separate outputs. My input can only have, so I would only have one arrow. And then this. So if it's branching out from one number from this side, that is not a function. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple of assignments up so that you can practice. And it's just going to be graphs and sets of numbers and all of that so that you can see if it's a function. Okay, I finally figured out the screen, y'all. Okay, so if you have any questions, remember I will be online during office hours. The office hours link is on the first page. You'll see your assignments in the Thursday folder, and I will, no, Friday folder. And then I'll see you all. Bye bye. In the Friday folder.